Lisa.
Hi, nice to be here.
I am really excited. We just met a few days ago, which is really cool. And that's the power of podcasting. But I want to know a little bit of your story. You have this beautiful journey of finding self-love, love for yourself. Can you share a little bit of that with us?
Well, we met because we have the art and healing aspect in common, right? Um, my journey started long, long time ago, passionately as an artist. I've always loved to draw. I mean, my earliest memories are sitting on the porch at my grandma's house with the, old 3-ring binders and notebooks that my dad had left from college. And I'd take the Sears catalogs and be clipping out things that I like and create collages and make my own magazines. So I've always had a dream to, you design things and be creative. And as I went through college, I became a graphic designer. I worked commercially as a designer in the corporate world. And about 10 years in, I decided to go out on my own. My daughter was about 3 and started my own business. And I ran that graphic design studio from 2006 till 2018. And at that time, we had something happen in the family. And that was after going through a divorce. Oh, wait, 2 divorces. So there you see my self-love journey. I was having some issues figuring out my boundaries, what I wanted and what I would accept, and raising my child on my own and just navigating all that. And all the way along, I did some side hustles, even when I was worked multiple jobs. And then when I became more devoted to my business, and I raised her running my graphic design business. So I supported us doing that alone. And so once in a while I'd have a contract go on site, but mostly it was my independent clients that kept food on the table and a roof over our heads. But when we went through sort of a health crisis with my daughter, who is turning 20 next week, I said, you know what? I need to do more. I always had a passion to help women going through depression. I went through postpartum depression, obviously 2 failed marriages. Mental health issues are a big part of that. And during that, the one common thread for me was doing my art. And a lot of times during that time, all those years from 2006 through 2018, I did it to put bread and butter and a roof over our heads. It was very motivated by pleasing others, but I always had art as an outlet. I also was a musician, trained as a cellist. And so music and art and the arts are a part of my soul. Like that's where I go to recover and process my feelings. And now, fast forward to 2019, I'm in a loving, caring relationship and a new marriage. My daughter's thriving, and I'm able to fully work as an artist and pivot into now helping women find recovery and peace and healing and provide resources. And hopefully, in my own podcast, and the things I did in the last year, opening the Global Art Cafe, had interviews with women who've written books, offering advice, and just being a resource. I don't have all the answers, but I've been there. I've survived 2 divorces, all the things in between. We all have family stuff, raising a child, having my own business, going through bankruptcy. So yeah, there was a journey, and the biggest part of that journey always, and I'm finding it more and more as I'm able now to focus on it and really be there for women in a way I've never been able to, is when you listen to the stories, we all have a place that we get stuck. And I find taking the time to create releases you, just like when you get into a TV show and you can't stop watching it, like on Netflix, you like binge watch because you just can't stop. Well, if you get it, or you're playing a musical instrument, you start playing and you get in the flow and everything just drifts away. You don't remember you couldn't pay that bill, or your daughter or son has been bugging you all day, but they're finally sleeping. This is your moment. You get to be in this moment and relax and find some peace. And so I've been busy creating things over the past year for my community, this creative community, the global art community, and now for women specifically, to take that time if they can. My challenge is, have creative wellness as a priority. And I think over the past year, we all learned how important that was, right?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
So, and I think it was hard before that. Like we didn't have a stop. And now it's been hard stop. What are you doing with your time? And so it just happened to coordinate and line up with where my life was at. And I love that there is that perfect timing. Faith was another part, my spirituality journey, always believing that there's a purpose for timing and the divine timing of things to occur, like meeting you. Like it's been fabulous. Like this is my very first podcast interview, and I see a lot in my future, and I'm super excited to work with you more and grow my vision, because it's all about constantly being aware of where we are in life and acknowledging mistakes, but also successes, and then helping other women for me to rise. And I've helped men too in my coaching already. So they're not, I'm not ruling that out, because I want to help everyone really, because what I've been through, I can help people hopefully not experience the extreme pain by listening and guiding gently in a safe space. So that's a little bit about my story. So now I'm just in this place where I have manifested the perfect relationship. I'm debt free. I'm living my dream. And I have, you always have dreams. You're always growing and changing. Like now, the next thing that I'm going to manifest is living remotely, where there are palm trees and warm sunshine, and travel to my global art cafe people and live a fantastic life once this COVID stuff is all completely cleared. I've got invitations to Luxembourg, Romania, India, because of what I did last year. And it's super exciting. I want to embrace that life. And I want to just tell these women, especially going through divorce and bankruptcy and financial problems and being stuck in jobs they hate, if I can do it, come on, you can do it. I want to help you. I want to help them do that, even if it's a baby step, because one of the things that I've been saying lately a lot, and I believe is it's in the micro transformations, microscopic, littlest changes. That's where I got there. I mean, it took me 10 years to get through my debt, 10 or more years to find a partner that truly appreciates me and supports me and is an actual partner in my life. Both a business. He's been helping me get projects done right now because he's had the time. That didn't just happen. Those are conscious choices all the way along to make positive change in your life, and saying no to certain things, having boundaries, knowing and being aware of like why these happens. What limiting belief was I carrying for? What was my money story? Talk about, a limiting belief I've had. That's probably my biggest one. Let me just say, what's your biggest limiting belief?
Mine
yeah,
is
sure.
definitely my money story, that money makes you evil.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we'll have to talk about that more. That's a big one, right? And everyone's is different, but we're all, at the end of the day, we are the same essentially. And we want to be loved, we want to be happy, and we want to be comfortable. And that comfort, money doesn't provide comfort, but it provides freedom. And sometimes it's not having a lot of it, in my opinion. There's a lot you can do, even in the hardest times. And we always have challenges. Like I've manifested the perfect life right now. When we moved into this townhome in 2019 and we weren't married yet, and I said, no, I don't really want to be a snot about this, but I've lived on the lake now for 4 years and I really want to be lake access. And so we did our thing and we prayed and we put it to the universe. Guess what? We lived 400 feet from the lake with deeded access. You can say what you want about that, but all of these things, it was, from 2012 to, well, it started in 2008. Then it was 2012, the second marriage ended. And from all that time was a battle. And all the way along, I was believing in something better. And I kept putting it out there, so the vision boards, the affirmation cards, the process, the working hard, the multiple jobs, all the things, they happened because I didn't give up. I persevered. Perseverance is a word people will tell you defines me, at least getting to this point. Now I would like to think it's a little bit, that seems a little negative, but it is positive in the sense that don't ever give up, because there's a reason you're going through what you're going through at the time. And there's a lesson. And, I always says, well, don't I have enough character already? Seriously, I don't need another lesson, but really we're always growing. And if you're open to that, and you accept the idea that a coach can help you, or maybe it's a therapist, depends what level of issue you're at, being able to guide someone to a happier, and more fulfilling life is really, really what makes me happy, that I can help people not feel, I asked a question recently on Facebook, where do you put your life right now? What satisfaction level, from a 1 to a 10? And, some people, like one person I know, he said, well, I'm a 12. I'm like, right? Like, let's be a 12 or a 20 or 10,000. Or there's the, let's not put a number on it approach. I like those positive approaches. But if somebody says 5 or less, I want to know, like, what is it that I could do to help you? And that's where I'm coming from right now. That's my story.
So there's so many questions I have. There's the awareness piece, there's the creativity piece, there's operating all the side hustles. I think that based on who our listeners are, is that when you're getting in these moments of like building, moving to that next level, how are you using art to help you stay in that creative flow instead of that really strict, structured, like burnout zone?
Well, the biggest change from where I was hustling, I am a power networker and a connector of people. And so, like I said, I worked for 15 years, keeping a roof over our head and paying all the bills, doing graphic design. But now I can use these new art activities to fuel me. And those exercises that I've made, I know I have helped other women make change in their life over the span of this last year. Like I said, the Global Art Cafe is an online group. We meet every week on Fridays over Zoom throughout the pandemic. And there are women that come back every week, every single week, because they are growing in some way. There's something that they need from that. And a big part of our conversation is, how are you doing? What are you working on? How can we help each other? And, I give them challenges to draw, or do things like you've been doing with, close your eyes and draw, or let's do a mandala, or what our signature question is, if you were color today, what color would you be? Which seems innocent enough, but pretty soon we're talking about, oh, I'm feeling really angry today, or and they say, I'm feeling really blue. Well, why are you feeling blue? Or somebody, one week we had something happen where someone said red, or they said they were blue. Okay, so it started with the first person was blue, and then the other person was compassionate and said, I'm going to be red because I want to make you feel better, and we'll be purple together. And that's really the heart of my mission, that we come together as women and we blend our colors together to make them better. I'm doing doodling. One of the things, if you show it, like one of these drawings I recently did, this is an interpretation of one of my best friends just recently went through a double mastectomy. And we had a conversation very recently about her healing process. And this is a depiction of that process. And so this is my work, but I like to work with other people to explore how can they express what they're feeling. And when you express how you're feeling through you can put it down here without thinking of words. You can put the color down, and then you start adding detail, and then you start feeling the emotion of it. I don't know if you can tell what it says to you, but this morning I messaged her and I said, will you write something from my interpretation of your healing journey? And those are ways art can play a part in the process. Well, I interpret it a certain way. I'm very careful to say, if somebody else creates something, that only that person can interpret what it says to them. And that process, I feel, is healing, is allowing people a space to create things that tell a story. Like we recently had a full circle moment yesterday in the Global Art Cafe where we talked about power names one week, and one of our members, her power name is Omniflower. And she had done a soul card with an image, and she had a lion and there were flowers, and the voice, she's timid, but she's inside, she's a lion, and it goes into this flower pattern, and her name being Omniflower. And then yesterday, we asked the question, if your color day, what would you be? And she's like, spring flowers. And then I read a quote that was all about flowers, and art and the visual all comes together. And so today I'm working on a floral pattern because I'm inspired by these conversations, and it is healing. You are able to put together like memories from childhood and memories from growing up, and what did that say to you, and like deciding what is going to define you as you grow. And so all these activities I'm working with these women with, they are growing in some way, and I see happier spirits and smiles and aha moments, and that's what I live for. So it's been really fun to give them things to process their growth that's through art, and not just like this in the face talking like you need to do this. That's it's just so hard. The organic growth is so much more fulfilling. Don't put any limits on it, and don't judge yourself. I heard that from somebody else this morning I was talking to, and that's what I love about this is people feel safe to talk to me and share their art. And they're like, I said, why haven't you shown anything lately? Well, I don't know if people really like what I'm doing. You know what? The thing is, at least what I'm doing, is you don't have to be an artist to get benefits. You can improve your memory, you can improve your health, you live longer, all these things. People don't realize that creativity, it opens up new doors. Like my husband is a perfect example. When we met, like, I don't know, 4 years ago or more, he wouldn't, no creativity. No, I don't do that. No, not for me, not going to happen. Well, I sometimes think that he's spending more time crafting and being creative than I am, because I'm busy doing my business. Like now he's into wood burning, and he's created this amazing box wood burning, and it's this whole thing. And it's awesome. Like, it's awesome to see, like, that was in there the whole entire time. But because of what he'd been told by somebody influential in his life, he chose to not pursue it. And we wouldn't be here. Like, it's not just that, it's like everything that it opens the door to. Oh, he's bringing to me. So I'll show the people that can see, and you can't hear, but this is a wooden box that's wood burned. And then he got super, like, all of this, he drew it. He and said, oh, I can't do anything like that. But now, not only the box, but then it's the process, and then what you put inside. What dreams are we going to manifest? That's going to go inside this box. So the art is a portal to your dreams and manifesting what you want, and always being open and finding out, like, hey, I can do things I didn't think I could do.
And I think you just brought up a really important point that I want to make sure that nobody misses, is that you don't have to go into art thinking you're creative. You can think that you can't draw a stick figure and still create something and move through trauma with art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't have to be, an art major in college to get a benefit out of this. I mean, intuitive art is a place that I'm exploring a lot too. And I will be interviewing another woman I met coming up in June. She's going to come on to one of the Global Art Cafe events and talk about how healing helped her in her healing process, in her journey, in her relationships, because you're able to turn off the brain and let your emotions come out on the canvas. And that doesn't mean you have some high skilling in paint like Rembrandt, but it means something to you. What you're putting down has meaning to you, and that's really all that matters. It doesn't matter about skill, is relative, and it doesn't matter for the healing process, right?
I completely agree. I teach people to paint with their eyes closed. So
right. And that's not always pretty.
But I want to keep saying, like, there is so much power in art, and I'm so excited that we connected through art and through, the world of being connected on the internet. And I think that was one of the points you brought up earlier that I wanted to kind of come back and touch on, of this. We had to take a worldwide pause. We had to go inward. We had to find things. And the creativity that came out of last year is phenomenal because we slowed down and became aware.
Mm-hmm. I know there's so many more people, living in this space. And part of me is like, could they just go back to work? but no, seriously, a little, but mostly it's nice that people have slowed down, seriously. And I did that a long time ago. I made the choice to stay home with my daughter, even though I went through divorce, not once, but twice, and always supported myself with my own business. Not everyone is that fortunate. I understand that, but it wasn't about being fortunate. Trust me. It was a lot of hard work. But that's the whole thing. It's a choice. You either do it or you don't. It's not about the money. It's about your values and where you're working from. And I've been doing that a long time. So this COVID and the quarantine, I've been doing this for years. But the awareness, I feel the shift. And these people that haven't gone through all the work that I've been through to live in this way and choose to live my values, where they're working every day and they feel they have to because that's what they know. You do what you know. You know what you know, and that's what you do. I chose to do something else, and I could never. Pretty hard to go back to the other way of living, right?
Right.
You just do it, whether you're making $5 a week or $2,000 a week or 10,000 a month or 1,000 a month. But it's not the money, it's the lifestyle. And these people are forced back into their homes, and now they're like, oh, my kids are here, my husband's here. We got to learn how we can take the puzzles out and the board games. How many years has it been since people actually played board games and put puzzles together? And all of a sudden art classes are booming online, because moms want their kids to be doing it. Why weren't we doing that before? It's like it's all, history repeats itself, full circle. These are healing practices, to have family time, to have people at the dinner table and do art, create together, go outside, turn the TV off, all of it. So I'm more than happy to be able to be a resource and supportive to the people that need help navigating what that looks like. And the hard part as a mom, I did that was always the case, is like not feeling guilty to take that time. Like self-care, we heard the word essential so much last year, right? Like to the point you just want to bang your head on the wall. But I would challenge people to say, having art and doing art and being creative is essential. And it really is painful for me to see friends of mine, because I also, as I said, I was a musician, and there are people teaching music out there, and music programs where I live are being cut all the time, music teachers. And it really hurts me to see that, because those people live the passion just like we do. And now what's happening? What do we really value in our society? Because these are things that feed the soul. And not only do they feed the soul, let's not just get woohoo about it. It's about your brain and your health. Music and art. Yo-Yo Ma is one of the most brilliant cellists there is out there. He has a biology degree. It's important to education and being fully rounded people, and your passions come in multiple places, and the arts is just a way to be such a rich, vibrant person. Look at like Yo-Yo Ma, he has that education, and a lot of other musicians too are, there's people in IT and they're in bands because they have that musical passion, and so they'll do it while they're working, but they're working IT all day, but they need music as an outlet. We need those outlets. We need the beautiful expressions. I can't imagine like not being able to listen to beautiful music, or whatever music you listen to in that case, or having art museums. You don't have to make the art to enjoy it. Yeah. But it's important. I think it's important in the fact that people are realizing that, coloring sheets are off the charts now. People are loving that because they realize it's relaxing. It reduces their stress. And I'm like, yeah, hello. So
I love that. And like in our neighborhood, we have this whole Facebook group that's about rocks, painted rocks.
okay,
So
yeah.
everybody is like hiding their painted rocks. It doesn't matter what they look like, but it's released that creativity. And you can see the people that are like we've got some that are like, these are artists. And then you have the ones that are like, I'm letting out my creative expression. And it's great to just find them because it brings joy. It brings this new level of happiness and joy and flow and freedom, and lets us start thinking outside the box of structure of society.
Yes. Yeah, we just found a few. They for a while there were a lot in the woods because we have a little woods that walks down to the lake, and for a while there we did some too, and we'd take them on our walks. We walked 3 or 5 miles, and we place them in different places, and it was fun to see when they were there, and then they would disappear, and now just all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of new rocks. So it is fun to see people are taking that time to share and connect.
And speaking of connecting, where can people find you? I know that you mentioned a couple groups, but where are they?
Okay, so you can find them 2 places. My Art Soul Living business, there is a website, so it's www.artsoulliving.com. And then on Facebook, of course, same name, Art Soul Living. And I have events posted on the events tab there as well. My public Facebook group is the Global Art Cafe. There is no monthly membership fee anymore. I just dropped that since I met you, and going some new directions. But there's 3 events that happen every month. We have weekly meetings on Zoom every Friday, 10 a.m. Central. And then we have 2 monthly events. The first one is the first Tuesday of the month. If you want to talk business and learn more about different things, like I'm hoping, Jen, you're going to come and share. 1 month, it's the first Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. for an hour. And we talk about all different things. And we've had speakers talking on branding. We had one from Romania, one of our friends, talking about email marketing last month. And we'll be having an author coming soon. So that's okay. Weekly, 10 a.m. Central, Global Art Cafe. Monthly, first Tuesday, 11 a.m. is a business mastermind. The second Tuesday of the month is Art Together. And let me just say quickly, let's give her a little plug. Coming up already on this Tuesday, we have the artist behind Life of a Paintbrush. Fabulous polymer clay artist. She's from Minneapolis area. And she's doing amazing things, and we'll be getting a studio tour and talking with her live, and maybe seeing her do a little creative time. And that's 2 o'clock, 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon Central Time every second Tuesday of the month. And like I've said, we have artists come and visit, and sometimes it's just an intimate group where we come together and we create. So any of those spaces are open to people to come and join. There is one other Facebook group called Artful Transformations, and that's really a place for women to join and find support in all the things that we were talking about at the top of this interview.
And I'll make sure to get all your information in the show notes also, so that people can just easily find them and click.
Yeah.
So I love to leave people with my favorite question, my mic drop moment. If someone were to walk away with only one tidbit in 30 seconds or less, what would it be?
Oh, I wasn't ready for that. 30 seconds. I guess 30 seconds, I'd say make time for art and allow yourself the freedom without judgment to put something down on paper, preferably with color, and just enjoy the moment and feel how that feels.